Good morning, everyone. I'm Stuart Yarwood, Regional Technical Manager for DLF Seeds. I'm here today with Andy Ralph.
Morning.
He's the golf course manager at Delamere Forest Golf Club here in sunny Cheshire today. It's a little bit of a cold breeze, and I'm sure everyone's struggling with warm days and cold nights. The grass doesn't know what's going on. We're here today to talk a little bit with Andy, who provides superb bentgrass surfaces at a classic Herbert Fowler Heathland golf course. And Andy today is going to talk a little bit about how he promotes the bentgrass on his golf greens and how he's kind of undertaken the restoration of what has always been a most fabulous native and ecology site. So Andy, talk to me a little bit about your practices, about why you want to use bentgrass on this golf course, on the greens.
Our plan really is always to end these summer greens straight through obviously summertime, wintertime. We're now temporary greens.
You get fired if you have temporary.
We'd get fired if we had temporary greens, exactly, yeah. So, yeah, we've been seeding for bents now for quite some time. Always drop a bit of fescue in there as well. We always seed back end of the year towards August, September time. Always have a good take. After that, then we pretty much leave them alone. We don't really do too much to them. Hardly any verticutting or anything like that for the back end, or even for the beginning of the year, really, just trying to get those bents, encourage them more. And it's about being sustainable and not doing too much work to them, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
The case kind of leaving them alone, let them grow themselves.
So what you would say then is you want to do most of your bent seeding when the soil temperatures are warm.
Yes, yeah.
And you're coming into the period of the year where disturbance is going to be less.
Yeah, pretty much so. I mean, we have kind of tried seeding early in the spring before now, but because you've got your cuts up at 5 mil, then that's when everything starts to come down again. You know, get down to 4 mil, trying to get some experience here greens with a bit more regular rolling, a little bit of cutting. But because you don't want to put too much pressure on those bents, we always leave our seed until the back end of the year. August time, September time, your cuts come up. So anything kind of mechanical doesn't happen. It gives them all a chance to survive, rather than it's springtime and then you're hitting it with everything, and it's it kind of works well as well.
So once you've established the bentgrasses in the back end, talk to us a little bit about overwintering, but then certainly coming into spring. I mean, we seem to be seeing more cold, dry springs. What's your kind of thoughts on how you manage those young seedlings the following year in the spring and through? You don't mention about verticutting or what's your nutrition program?
No, I mean, we don't do a great deal of it, so we go a little bit towards May and things like that into June. We don't get them too leggy, to be honest. I very like verticutting. Is all we kind of require. Nutrients-wise, just a straight lawn sound around about February, March.
A little bit of ammonia.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that they've only had, really. Reading from the back end, some September-wise, they've only had, again, we go in the lawn sound back end of September, October, and that's it. Nutrient-wise, we don't get anything else on. Then it's quite simple greenkeeping, really. Aeration-wise, not a great deal of aeration happens. We do a 12 mil vertic drainage about October time.
Yeah.
Other than that, deep slip straight for the winter. We start that round about November, December, January and Feb.
Yeah.
So we get about 5 to 6 slits in.
Okay. Going down sort of 7-8 inches.
So other than that, we've not put a solid sign in the greens for about 5 to 6 years now. So aeration wise, we're quite simple on that, and nitrogen wise, really, we kind of go for around about 35 to 40 pound of nitrogen per year, and that's it. We do is kind of keep it simple. And obviously, you can see there's also we've gone forward, and we're around about 80% bent in the greens with a little bit of fescue in there, and the rest of it's power. So
it was never always like this.
No,
obviously you worked hard on getting your organic matter down.
Yeah.
And it was a strange one. Whenever we talked about organic matter level, it may have been up at 10 or 12%. But that is the kind of it wasn't fat, it was muscle.
Yeah, it's more of the lignin fibre in the bents that we've got the issue with. It wasn't an issue as such, because we were at about 9-10%, and we talked about getting us further down. But you want to kind of keep that lignin fibre there, because it kind of holds a little bit of moisture, so you haven't got to do too much watering. We always keep around about. I mean, we've dropped the percentage is down 5% before now on the moisture levels. And they've still been as they are, so we kind of keep around about 10% through summertime. It's generally, if we have a dry summer, say 2018, we were still around about 5-10% moisture level. Good core in there still. A lot of greenkeeping now is, for me, it's kind of done by the eye. If it doesn't look like what's doing it, then we kind of leave it alone. Rather than stick the moisture meters in there and over 5%, 10%, let's get some water on there. By looking by the eye and they kind of look all right, then for us, then they are.
So you're in a very fortunate position. Speaking on sand, because it's a big sand quarrying area. It is a classic Heathland. You worked really hard to pull all the kind of weedy trees out, the birch and all those kind of things, which is looking incredible today. But I love your approach, your very native and natural approach to favouring the dominant species on the site, which will be bentgrass. So we're talking really about making sure your drainage profiles are effective. And I know you're very lucky at being on sand. On heavier sites, you might look at your aeration practices through the drier months to create those cracked fissures where drainage and air can get them. But also your nutrients, so you're not providing competition against the annual meadowgrass versus the native bentgrasses.
So yeah, it's kind of about being that annual meadowgrass just under stress all the time. It's key for us. It's keep the feed low, keep the water low, but that's your item.
Bentgrasses don't actually need that.
Exactly, no.
Usually lose your thing. No. So ultimately, it's about understanding what species you want to promote on your greens, and then trying to create the environment to give that and deliver that. Because otherwise, you could be kind of treading on your own feet a little bit. So heights of cut wise, you're sort of
heights of cut
mil through the
4 mil for the summertime, and we're 5 mil. 5 mil goes from 1st of October straight through till now. We're still 5, and then we'll gradually knock that down to 4.5 next week, and then 4 mil for the summertime. So it's
but I know we joke, but you are one of the most boring greenkeepers I've ever met. Similar to myself, very boring, very very traditional, very old school. Using old school kind of products, old school techniques, and because the bentgrass doesn't know what day it is, it's really nice to see. And your surfaces are absolutely superb. It's a little bit of purple in these golden swing winds where the sugar's kind of moving around in the plant, but it's such a native looking site where everything kind of blends through. It's absolutely beautiful to see. Really, really nice. Andy, thank you very much for talking to us today. I appreciate you sharing your wealth of knowledge. It's really nice to see, mate. Keep working, and congratulations to the whole team. Thank you. Fabulous job. Thank you very much.